Hey everybody, we are live. Sorry about the delay on that. This is Geeky Cool, our Geeky Cool vlog or video blog, as it's called.
We gotta come up with a
I know
name.
we're going to come up with
Working
a
on
better name for it, but as of right now, that's what we're calling it. So we'll figure it out. So the Geeky Cool guys and gals. No, I don't know. We'll figure it out. Anyway, so this is episode 2. We were going to have a really special guest. Oh, first, almost forgot. I'm Larry. This is
I mean,
AJ. Oh, I'm doing the wrong way there. See, look, my hand's going the wrong direction. Um,
I know. You see that looking over there, and I'm like, wait, no, that way.
yeah, it gets confusing. So
It does.
we are from GeekyKOOL.com, our website. In fact, we will throw this up here right now, show you our banner there. So check us out down below right there at the checkout GeekyKOOL. Somehow I misspelled .com. I don't know. We'll adjust that here. I thought I had fixed that, but apparently I had not. I don't know.
Spell
Anyway,
check, Professor.
I know. Well, I was doing that last minute because I'm like, oh, look, this is really cool. I can add this in here. So we're still playing with technology. We've been wanting to do this podcast, vlogcast for quite a while. We're finally being able to do that. So we're excited to be with you guys. AJ, as I like to call Ace, because she's like my ace reporter. Plus, we've got a little Doctor Who reference in there. So,
Yeah, love the Doctor Who.
yeah. So, we wanted to talk today a little bit about how the coronavirus is affecting the comic industry, but also about the comic industry itself. We were going to have a really special guest with us, Josh from Comic Force. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Josh
is a local comic store here in Branson, Missouri. But.
And if you're from the Branson area, definitely check that out. Would be a great shop to get invested into to be able to get your comics and other variety of things. We're hoping to have him on sometime in the near future, but life happens, so sometimes you can't always be available for a show. So, but want to talk a little bit about the comic industry anyway. It would be really cool to have his perspective as a comic book shop owner. But we're going to talk a little bit about it, all the things going on. So things seem to daily be changing with the comic book industry. There's new stuff coming out constantly.
Yeah, I followed a little bit. Like I get like little updates and stuff. And I follow a bunch of our friends who have videos and stuff. And I know a little bit about it. I know you know a lot more about it. I know like some things like the history of I'm a history, so I know the history of things, But yeah, I don't know for sure all the up to date stuff. So I'm gonna listen and learn with everyone.
and we'll talk about it. I don't have all the answers either. I don't think anybody does.
Right.
The comic industry, of course, is being hit hard with the coronavirus because they, like a lot of businesses, are considered non-essential. So if your city, like Springfield or Branson, have ordered non-essential stores to close and stay-at-home orders, those shops cannot be open. So that's affecting them. Small businesses, as we talked in our last episode, are really affected with the coronavirus, or the coronapocalypse, as I'm calling it now. So, the problem has been the industry itself has been kind of not doing as well as it could anyway. And now you hit this and things become a lot more rough.
Well, the thing about it is it's any publishing industry right now. Like not just comics. I love comics and everything, but it's newspapers. I know the news, which is the paper in Springfield. I know they just retired their printing press.
Yeah.
Last week. And so that's a big deal. And so newspaper magazines are going online only, and books, you download books now instead of, I love a book, like if somebody's like, can I buy you a book? You better have an actual book. But there's so many digital ways of getting things, and it's just affecting all publishing, like printed on paper
Right.
industries, even before this.
Oh,
And
that's
so,
true.
yeah, it's a dying art, unfortunately, and that's sad. That's so sad.
I agree with you 100%. Comics have been a little more insulated. There are digital comics, Comixology, which is owned by Amazon. Amazon bought them a while back. It is one of the big places that you can go get comic books online. I have done a little bit of that using a tablet. I don't find it as enjoyable as the paper comics as that I've got behind me. But if I needed to, I'm going to adjust, and I'm going to still get that. It would be a lot cheaper for an industry like comics to be able to put their stuff on. They already put it online, but it's usually after they put it out with the hard copies. Yeah. But if they could save their printing cost and having to pay diamond money, that would sure save them money. But stores like Comic Force rely on this, so then that makes it difficult.
Right.
What's kind of helped comics in a way has been fans like you and me wanting our paper comics or our books, and there's been a lot of hesitation. The other challenge I know has been Comixology. If you go buy them on Wednesday on Comixology, it's the same price it is in the store to get a paper comic. Well, if you're going to, yeah. So now if you wait a month or so, they go down to $1.99 and then down to 99 cents. So you can get them cheaper if you're willing to wait, but that's true with paper comics too. You're not going to pay full price for a paper comic typically unless it's a big issue that sold really well for whatever reason. So if they cut the price down, then I think you might see more digital. But again, that's going to affect our friends that are comic book store owners, and we hate to see that.
I would think it would affect not just the comic book owners, but it's going to have some trickling effect to the creators.
Oh, yeah.
Like if they sell cheaper, your artists aren't going to, and I have lots of friends who are comic book artists. Like I have lots of comic book artist friends or writers. And so that's a big issue. We already are in a society that doesn't value art the way it has been in the past. And so artists, when they say like, starving artists, no, that's a real thing. That's why most artists have real jobs, have like 9-to-5 jobs, because we can't just be artists or writers or any of that and make a living off of that. There's very few people who do that. And so if they go digital and they go cheaper, that's going to be less money for the creators.
Right.
And that's an issue too. That's less money for all the small businesses and all of the creators. And, yes, it's good for the technological advances in our society where we're at, and people are on their phones and tablets and all that. But it really hurts like so many people in the long run. So that's
no, you're exactly right. That's exactly right. It will affect those. Now the idea would be if you cut the price a little bit on digital comics, you would be able to pay your creators the same because you're not having to pay the cost of the printing and the distributing. So that's, and there's a markup that happens when it goes through that $4 an issue. The comic book stores aren't paying $4 an issue to get that, and nor should they. That's how things work. There has to be a markup for them to make a living.
It's called wholesale, people.
It is called wholesale. Exactly. You're exactly right. So, but if you went directly to digital, you could cut out a lot of those middlemen.
But then you're cutting out family-owned businesses.
You're exactly right, and there's also the issue, and this is a selfish issue for me and other fans that I know, but if you get rid of the hard copies, what do I have to go to the comic book convention to get you to sign? Because when I meet the artist, I want that signature on their art on the comic, or the writer. I want that. I can't do that on my tablet. I can't pull up and have you digitally sign it.
No, and the thing is like I understand where technology is going. It's not something I'm really like happy about on a lot of things, but I get it.
Right.
I have grandchildren, and they're like on their tablets, and they don't even understand. It's like some of them don't even understand like books that aren't on tablets. Like I worked at a children's store for years. I just stopped working at a children's store where we would have kids in, and I'd be like, "Well, what's your favorite book?" Because they were talking about books, and they're like, "Oh, this one," and it's on their tablet. And yes, it's a book, and yes, it is them reading, and that's always great. But
Right.
like, how many of them actually have like books? It to me, it's just really, really sad. I
Yep.
love books so much. That's my whole thing. Like I'm like paper. I don't know. There's something about flipping through a comic book or an old book, like that whole feel of flipping the pages. You just don't get that with like this.
Right. Right. Well, and I think it's much easier to look at the art and kind of the context of everything on the paper copy than it is on the digital platform. Now, again, I'm old, so that's probably part of it.
Me too. We should have somebody here. Like we should have had like somebody like in their teens in here going, no, this is going to be and it's going to be the future. Like let's face it, I'm not oblivious to the fact that this is what is going to happen. It doesn't. I have to like it.
Well, and I think there's always going to be a place, just like there's still going to be a place for bookstores because you have that nostalgic feel. I think there's always going to be a place for comic book stores, but if you look at how things have been going, and part of the challenge has been with Diamond being the only distributor for the major comic books,
Since
getting
1990.
yeah, that's exactly right. And there were 3 before that, and they kind of went out.
Yep.
Diamond didn't shove them out. It wasn't a monopoly, but it's not been, Diamond, since they're exclusive, they can determine who they want to work with and who they don't as far as stores go. We have seen a lot of stores in the last year, including one of the ones here in Springfield that was a great store, being the Comic Cave, go out because Diamond has determined the risk factor wasn't there for them. I think that it's kind of crazy. It's a business decision, and I'm not Diamond, and I know Diamond probably his profits are probably slim like everybody else's. But when you're closing stores because you get to pick, I have a problem with that. But I think things are going to eventually change. Interestingly, so this week there have been a couple of news things with DC. And so DC Comics has come out. First thing they said is they wanted to help out the local stores as much as they can. So the local stores that are open, they're trying to find a way to get product into the store. They don't currently have one because their printing press is shut down, and of course Diamond shut down. Marvel has not come out and said anything. I'm hoping Marvel and there have been different things from Image and Dark Horse and everything else. People are being very supportive of comic stores, so I'm hoping that'll continue. Yeah.
It's a good thing. When you told me what our topic was going to be, the little reporter inside of me goes and does some research and everything. And I know that that comic book stores have where they can typically, even, and this has been since the beginning of like the whole comic thing, is they have where they can get reimbursed. If things don't sell, they can send it back, get credit and all that stuff. And I know I read an article that Marvel is one of them that's not letting them do that during the coronavirus.
Now that's
DC
interesting.
Is
right.
DC is, but with like a not full 100% credit. From what I read. And now I've read 3 articles. That doesn't necessarily mean it's all factual because let's face it, it's journalism. And even though but I found that interesting. I found it interesting that I also know that DC and Marvel both put a hold. They were supposed to release digital comics tomorrow, April 1st.
Right.
The first of them. And they both have put a hold on them. Now DC is saying they're going to like release theirs later, and Marvel's saying they haven't put a date out there yet.
Right.
As far as articles that mentioned that said.
Right.
I don't know how that's going to impact with Diamond and distribution and comic book stores and stuff like that. I know the smaller distributors, like Boom and all of them, they're working with the comic books and stores, and from what I've read on everything that I've read is they're going to do that 100%. You get credit for things sent back and everything, which is great. That's awesome because they're not going to be able to sell them because they're not open.
Right. Well, at least not. You're going to have people which have subscriptions that you pull their comics and they're going to come in and get those even if they can't come get them now because they want them. Just like me, I'm going to, the stuff that is supposed to be pulled for me, I'm going to pay for that. Full price, everything else. Well, you know, and usually you get a discount if you have a subscription. So a couple of things, AJ. So back in before comic book stores, when you would have them in supermarkets, you would have them at the drugstore and everything else. Comic books fell under the whole way that magazines work, which was anything you don't sell, you could return for 100%. Guarantee back. And so those publishers were getting stuff back constantly. Comic book stores sprung up just because out of the love for comic books and everything else, in a place to make sure that you can go get what you're looking for. Because, you know, I remember as a kid going in and I would miss issues of Spider-Man because they didn't either come into the supermarket or somebody bought it before I got there or whatever. But so I would miss issues. And with that sort of method, with a direct distributing, you can prevent that from happening, which is one of the selling points. But how basically DC and Marvel got sold on it was there was an agreement that if you were going to do direct distributing, you couldn't return your product. You had to basically sell the product you got in. And they've made exceptions from here and there, but typically that's still been true even through the beginning of this year, that if I bought 500 issues of Batman as a store and I only sold 200, I'm stuck with 300. I can't return those typically.
Right.
So it became a really big deal when Image came out and said, we're going to give you 100% back. So if you order this and you don't sell it, we'll take it back. And they kind of set the trend. Marvel and DC had not really said anything. Some of the other smaller ones jumped right on, just like what you said. So it's a big deal for them to return it for any sort of value. Now, Marvel has come out and said that they're going to do the same thing. I've read a thing from Marvel.com that was basically stating, yes, they're going to make all the issues returnable. No, they're not putting anything out.
Okay.
So that's kind of the thing there. And that's a big deal that either one of them would agree to that. So,
yeah, that's good. Go ahead.
Oh, that's all right. So the other thing that I saw was DC has now clarified what they're going to do for tomorrow. They have some books that are digital first. They've already been trying an experiment on seeing what if we only put certain books out digitally first, and then later you could get them, you know, like you could buy a collection of those stories, but buying it digitally first is the only way to get certain issues. Marvel, I don't believe, has done any of this. DC has some issues. Super Friends, a lot of the kids' comics are being done this way. And that makes sense, since that's where the kids are going to be more likely to read them on a tablet than where us more adults that are used to the hard comics are going to read them. So they've been doing that. So DC's clarified those comics are coming out tomorrow. They're putting out their digital first comics. Now, the headlines are always misleading sometimes from some of our geeky media out there. Sometimes we want to try to get people sucked in, so we put headlines in there. Quite honest, we don't do that on GeekyKOOL, but not to judge, just saying we don't play those games. But
right.
Basically, all of their digital first ones that were supposed to come out tomorrow, they're expecting to come out tomorrow. So those will be there. DC still looking a way to be able to get hard copies into stores that are still open, because there are still cities that are open that have not done the stay-home order. So how much longer that lasts, I don't know, because I can't imagine if Springfield, Missouri and Branson, Missouri shut down, you got to think any city of any size is going to be following along.
I agree. I agree with that. I think social distancing and shutting is a good thing right now.
Yeah.
But yeah. So what do you think is, so say we get through this pandemic.
Yeah.
and what do you think is going to happen? What is going to be the future of comics?
Oh, that's a great question.
You are, yeah.
So before we go there, I wanted to mention one other thing. So one of the small publishers that I know the owner, not real well, but I've met him several times and we're friends on Facebook. Big Dog Ink. They put out some really cool stuff. Some of it's a little more adult oriented. Some of it is very kid friendly. But they have come out and said, if you're a comic book store and you're still open and you want product, he will ship them on his dime to put new product in their store. Part of that is that he's trying to get his name out there. They actually were really big about 10 years ago, and then they had some financial issues. But some really cool comics. My favorite one is the Wild Wild Wizard of Oz. And basically it's a Wild West mashup of Wizard of Oz. It's amazing. So for a long time, that was my favorite comic. So
anyway. Well, that'll be good. I mean, glad that that's possible. I just feel like, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like technology is taking over our world.
it certainly is. Like you've got there's a balance there.
I know, but the old person in me goes,
I get it. I get it completely. Well, I remember a time in Springfield, there were 5 comic book stores that were out there putting new comics out every week. I remember a time, of course, when there were like on every few blocks, you would see a bookstore. Those were normal. Nowadays, the bookstores aren't as frequent. Neither are the comic book stores. Things are changing with the times. So to answer your question, where do I think things will go? I wish I really knew. I think we can guarantee in 5 years the comic industry is going to look way different than it does now. I think I can also guarantee comic books as a hard printed thing aren't going away. It is something that people will love, the way to be able to get that art there. Is it going to be DC and Marvel owning the biggest percentages of it still? I don't know. DC Comics, there's been speculation earlier in the year that if this big event DC was doing, that Dan DiDio was leading, if it did not go successfully, Warner Brothers was going to shut down DC. Those are all rumors. Nothing ever came out from Warner Brothers saying that, but those were rumors that were going out there. Since then, they fired Dan DiDio as one of the co-publishers at DC. The way this event that they're talking about is changing, because it looked like basically they were going to take all your superheroes that you know and love and age them and then pull in basically replacement characters. Damon Wayne, who's Robin right now, would become Batman. You would have Superman's son in the comic books become Superman. Wonder Woman would be replaced also. So they were looking at ways. Flash was going to be replaced. All the main characters were going to be replaced, and doing that on what they were calling a permanent.
Wonder Woman doesn't really age.
Well, when you say that she's, half goddess, if she's, you got a point there. I don't know.
I mean, that one's a hard one for me. Okay, so yes, she ages on the island when she was on the island, but she hasn't aged since she left the island. So yeah, that one's a hard one for me to follow. I mean, the rest of them, yes, they age.
How do I tap into that? Because I would like that. That would be nice.
What?
So that would be nice if we could do that for ourselves. I would love to tap into the not aging thing. Can we do that?
Yeah, I'm okay with aging. I'm okay with aging.
All right. So I'm just always happy that I have my hair and it's not gray. So I'm pretty happy with that.
I mean, Professor, I'm okay with aging. I'm like good with it. It might be because I apparently don't age.
You still look 25. Yeah.
No, it's a weird thing. Somebody asked me once if I like drank the blood of virgins, and I was like, no. No. And I have a good comeback, but we're family friendly, so I don't go there. But yeah. But yeah, no, I don't know. It's weird to think of superheroes after, like they've been superheroes. Yes, we've had, different Flashes and we've had different Robins and, all of that. But for them to now, and they've aged Batman, like Batman has in several comics aged.
Right.
But certain ones just have been the same like age since the 1930s and 40s.
Right.
Like I feel like now you're gonna force age everybody is just a little extreme. I'm not sure how I put that. But if it transitions, I do know that I was watching I was watching a couple things on comics today because I knew this was coming up. I know that there's the two new superheroes that have been announced.
Yeah.
Snowflake
with Marvel. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I understand that comics as them are not going to be the same as they are going in the future. But that's with everything. Nothing's the same. It's that's nostalgia. It's because it's something from days gone past, and so I get that. It doesn't make me sad. Yeah, do I get confused and a little weirded out by some of the decisions made? Yes, I do. But they're not my decisions to make.
Right. Well, no, I'm with you, and I think from what I'm reading is that event's not going to be a permanent thing. It may be an Elseworld sort of story or something like that, but I think they've kind of gone away from making this as an industry-wide change to their superheroes. Marvel tried this a couple years ago. We had Lady Thor. We had Iron Man was a teenage girl. We had Hulk as a teenage boy. We had Spider-Man, of course, gave Miles Morales. So they did some changing up of things, and those things, of course, didn't stick around forever.
Right. Some things were successful. I actually like Miles Morales.
Oh yeah.
And we've all. The thing with it though is because Marvel was really good about doing, you have different timeline versus you have the multiverse, and when they open that up, you can have any character be any gender, any race, at any timeline because there's, and then DC does the same thing too, and and all the Earths. So you have that diversity without having to specifically change a character from a specific universe and stuff like that. So, you can do all of that without completely messing with technically, I guess there could be a Wonder Boy, like in another universe or another Earth that, he instead of a goddess, he's God. So yeah, no, I'm cool with all of that. I find it amusing sometimes when people like sometimes I feel like people, mega companies especially, really do a lot of fanfare. And which that's where they get their money, and I get it. But it's just like, that's a really right decision for that character. or is that the right decision for that franchise? Or, you know what I mean? But it makes the money. So, and that's the whole thing. I know we love art and we love comics and we love books and stuff like that, but we wouldn't have all those things. They didn't make somebody money.
Right. That's exactly right. Well, and I think there's a balance there, and I'm all in favor. Add all the new characters you want. Don't go and necessarily mess with the other characters. You can tell, like you said, in a different universe, this is what this character is like. I loved some of my favorite comics were the Justice Society and All-Star Squadron comics from DC that were set back in the day. And so you had characters and you had stories going on from a different Earth. That's awesome. Tell those stories. I'm all in favor.
Yeah, me too. Well, hopefully the pandemic gets like, I don't know. I'm an introvert. This quarantine staying at home thing is really starting to get to me.
See, that's bad because
I only go out. You're an extrovert. I can't even imagine.
It's a little crazy.
To groceries.
Right.
That's it. That's all I've done the last 2 weeks is gone to get groceries and check on financial things at my bank and my work. Mm-hmm. That's pretty much all I've done. So reading and art and everything, that's the best part about this whole staying at home is that I feel like you did that really great article on the 10 things that you can do to busy. I love that.
Thank you.
I'm doing an art. Yeah, no, it was great. I'm doing an art, calling it the pandemic art party, where you can just go on Facebook every day and we can do a challenge. It's not really a challenge. We give you a theme for the week and then we give you a theme every day and you can make art if you want to, or just look at other people's art and it just, and nobody has to actually be an artist to do it. I know people are writing more, reading more, and, gardening more, just doing things that are creative. And I love that. I'm all about the artist creativity. So if anything comes out of this, that's good. I hope that we all continue to be art driven or beauty loving and finding the little moments and the little things to grateful for and look at the world in a different way. That's my whole hope for everybody. So
I agree 100% with that.
Well, I think our time's almost up, isn't it?
It is. We're getting really close. A couple other things I wanted to mention of what you had asked. One of the things that I think that comic books you're going to see more of, you're going to see more independent comics. You're going to see more Kickstarter, Indigo sort of comics. We've already got friends that are doing that regularly. Of course, I mentioned my friend over at BDI. That's how they're getting their stuff out right now. Now, I think that can lead to new forms of publishing that may happen, but I think you're going to see more of that sort of thing in the comic industry, and you're going to see more independent comics in comic stores. There's going to be less probably from Marvel and DC, but I think you're gonna see others come and take its place.
That's good because I love Marvel, I love DC, but I also have people who write and draw for comics that are local and that I love to support, but people don't know their stuff's out there.
Right.
There's of them and I would name them all, but I would be afraid I'd miss one. I might do an article on them, just enlisted or something, but I wouldn't want to miss anybody. But that would be good. I would be good to support people who are just breaking into it, or people who don't want to. They want to do their own thing. I'm all about doing your own thing, and expressing yourself through a comic book is hard. I've tried. Didn't quite work out for me. So it's a difficult, and it
is. It's a hard art form.
Yeah. So, anything else we want to talk about, Professor?
I think we kind of covered it. Basically, once this is over, get out and support your local comic book store if you're still out there. and your comic store is able to function. I know the one in Springfield was looking at, basically they're going to go in and open the doors to just check on things and maybe post it, hey, we're going to be here if you want to pick up your comics, but we're not officially open, sort of thing. And they were also talking, if people wanted, they would mail them and drop them off at your door. Now, there would be an extra fee on both of those things, but for people that want it. Now, the challenge is if you're a Marvel DC fan, and a lot of things that Diamond would do, new stuff's not coming in, so there's not a whole lot of new product they're coming in for you. So, but support those local comic businesses when it comes back. Hopefully, most of them will still be around, won't be bankrupt. So just do that.
So if you have a comic book store that you've gone to that you would like to support, and they might not be open, but I almost guarantee you that they have a Facebook page.
You bet.
Contact them on their Facebook page and tell them, one, that you support them, and two, if they are shipping anything, or if they're doing curbside delivery or whatever it is, because who knows, I might not have thought that was a need that they needed to fill. That they might just love to hear that you support them, and that is sometimes one of the only things we do right now. That's
you're exactly right.
Great. And so, if you're calling their store and it's closed because they're not an essential business, check them out on Facebook. I almost guarantee if you're a comic book store, you're on Facebook, and give them a message and just tell them that you support them, or go to their Facebook page and like it if you haven't, or on your page. Local artists and local businesses at this time when we're closed down and we can't do anything about it because we're not essential. Just having people share stuff and keep your name out there that's what I plan on doing. I hope everybody
most definitely. Right on. Well, so let's mention some of our friends out there that are also doing similar things that we are here. Of course, we've got our good friends over at Scallywag Productions. Make sure to go check them out. They are one of our partners here with GeekyKOOL. We love those guys. Some great videos. If you're watching Tiger King or curious about Tiger King, check out the reviews because, I swear.
He did a review breakdown. He watched an episode, came and filmed, and then he watched an episode and came. It's an hour-long video on YouTube, but he's broken it down, and he's he's doing other things too to see the inside because this is he films. Go check him at Scallywag. We also have Keith and Gary.
We do have Keith and Gary over at Pop Culture Minefield. We can't forget those guys. Again, our show is PG. Theirs is not. Scallywag's typically PG. Pop Culture Minefield is not, because God bless Gary, he doesn't know how to keep things PG. So, and Keith just laughs at him. So,
but they're fun.
They're hysterical.
Also, Brittany's joining them a lot.
She is, which is awesome.
I'm all about us geeky girls.
Oh, I know, and Brittany's awesome. So Brittany also from Titans of the Fantastic, along with Keith. When we had that show going, we're hoping to get that back, but we're not there yet. But yeah, Brittany and Keith are awesome. Also, let's not forget our good friends over at Nerd Informants, because they've got a great site and they've got tons of stuff going on all the time.
Yeah, Tim and Josh over at Nerd Informants. They're also on Facebook. They have a big following on Facebook. Tim just celebrated his birthday, so I want to say happy birthday to him.
Happy birthday, Tim.
No, they're great. Yeah, Josh just did an interview with I don't want to get it wrong, but someone who worked really close with Robin Williams.
Oh yes, I did see that. Yeah,
that interview. Yeah, so go check them out. They have great interviews and they're funny guys, and you can see all kinds of things. They like to share things. They're a little bit more PG as well. They're not quite. They're family friendly.
Right. Exactly. So
I want to make sure that people know like who you can have the little ones watch.
Right.
So yeah, no, great. And yeah, and don't forget to check us out. Keep checking us out on GeekyKOOL.com, where we have video, and then we have articles and reviews and all kinds of really cool things. And we have a bunch of writers for us.
We do.
Of course, Professor there is our editor-in-chief, and just a bunch of people. And we have a lot of geeky coolness going on and nerdy girlness and geeky girlness. That's me. But yeah, check us out. Website. And I see you fixed
I did.
See, now you have too many E's.
Oh my gosh.
Professor, you have too many E's in geeky. So GeekyKOOL.com.
Really geeky. Oh my goodness. See, the great thing is it'll be right for next week. So there we go.
There you look. It's spelled right. Yay.
Well, when you give a dyslexic a keyboard, it's kind of like giving a mouse a cookie.
But check us out on all our platforms, and just have some fun. If you guys are quarantined, go check us out. Go check out some new YouTubers. Find some fun things. Do some artsy stuff, and yeah, just try to stay busy and don't go crazy.
Right, and check GeekyKOOL.com has an article about 10 things, and you can also Scallywag Productions had a vlog about what to do. Now, some of it you may not want to do, like licking the toilets, and he actually came back and was like, don't really do this stuff, but check him out.
No, he put that video on, and then people, like, he did research afterwards. He was like, I should have researched before, because people were doing these things. I was like, no, the corona challenge, don't do it. People, seriously, stay home. Don't be stupid. I know that it can be funny. It's not worth like losing your life or letting somebody else die because you wanted to be famous for a bit.
Well, and just like, there are people that are going to jail because they're licking things, because that is dangerous. Don't do that. Don't be stupid and end up in jail for doing something you think is funny. Oh, I sound like a dad.
Don't. You, Professor.
Oh, that's right.
You are a dad.
That's right. Oh, goodness.
You can't help it. I'm like mom and you guys right now. I'm like, don't be stupid. Like, don't do things that put other people at risk, and don't do things that put yourself at risk.
Right, exactly.
We don't know how this is all going to end, and hopefully everybody's safe. Even people using all the precautions in the world are getting sick, and so just try.
Well,
try your hardest.
And also remember, if you're young and fit and your odds of dying from this are slim, and you do something stupid, you may not affect you, but you may affect your parents. You may affect your grandparents. Instead, I saw people over 70 that get this, 1 in 4 die. Think about your 4 grandparents. Which one would you like to die? Then don't be stupid.
I have underlying. Oh, you can't hear you, Professor. You just cut out completely. I have underlying health issues. Yes, I have underlying health issues. Because of that, like, I have a higher chance of, if I get this, that it is fatal.
Right.
Please think like people. Think of other people a little bit before you do stuff. But yeah, just try to be safe. Social distancing is a thing that I know people have to go out and stuff. And also be kind to the people who are essential workers. Okay,
yes.
Because horror stories from my friends who are essential workers, especially like at big box stores, Walmart, Target, even Dollar General, that people are being rude to them or have the stuff. If they don't order the stuff, they don't. And they're out there risking their lives potentially, or the lives of their loved ones, so that we get stuff. So please be kind. Just be nice, people.
And don't bring cash. Bring your credit card. You swipe yourself. Don't be handing cash to the cashier. That's just setting them up to get sick. So,
well, money is disgusting anyway.
Money is disgusting, right?
It is. I've watched too many videos on that. It gets gross. Well, Professor, we're at 45 minutes, Professor. I think it's probably time for us.
It is. We ran over, so, but that's okay. You guys are all worth it, so we'll do that for you. So, all right, until next week, it looks like we're probably going to look at Tuesday nights doing this. So please tell your friends, watch us live. Go out to YouTube and find it. It's also on Facebook Live, and you can find the feed there. We'll be posting it at GeekyKOOL.com. So hopefully you can find us out there, watch us, and if you can, watch us live 6:30 Central Daylight Time and on Tuesday nights at this point.
Yeah, and be sure, guys, when you're watching us, because I do know people who are watching, but nobody comments and stuff. Be sure to comment. If you have questions for us, let us know. We'll try to answer them if they pop up. I don't know how this works, but if they pop up, I'll answer your questions.
Well, and we do have a section here that has all the comments. If you comment, because we're doing this live both on YouTube Live and on Facebook Live at the same time. We're multitasking here. Comments from both, we're going to pop right in here where I can see them, and I will actually put them on the screen for us to answer. So, you might want to look at grammar and spelling, unlike me, look at those things. But we'll put your questions out here or your comments, even if you're saying hi. Now, if you're being rude, your comments won't make it. But as long as you're being nice, and if you have a different opinion than we do, that's cool. We're happy to hear it and to talk about it. So,
guess what? I'm always up for everybody's opinion.
Exactly.
Your opinion. You're allowed to have it.
Most definitely. Yeah. Agreed. Too bad most people don't realize that nowadays. You gotta let people be okay with liking something different than you. It's okay. It doesn't make anybody bad. Yeah. So, all right, that's enough lecturing.
Right. So, guys, it's the parents and us. We can't.
I know.
Guys, next Tuesday.
We'll see you then.
Next Tuesday, right, Professor?
Right. We'll see you next Tuesday.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Oh, stay social distance. Live long and prosper.
Bye.
Or finger guns. I don't know.
I can't. Oh no, I can't do that either. I'll wave. Bye.
Bye.